Okay, well, um, this is my first how-to video. I posted a couple of layouts, updates, but this is the first time where I'm actually going to try and talk a little bit about something I might know a little bit about, and that's woodworking. If I sound a little groggy, you have to excuse me. I've been binge watching YouTube Model Maker pretty much nonstop in the Hangouts. I got to tell you, for somebody who's just getting into the hobby and wants to know more about pretty much any topic, I highly recommend it. You know, Big Bill and Mike and Vinny and Barry and all the other guys that have been on that are just a wealth of information, and it's been extremely helpful for me to kind of get my legs under me as far as the hobby goes. So I want to kind of add on to something that he talked about. I think it was episode 8. They were talking about building wood structures, and it's not my intent to correct them in any way, shape, or form. And it's not my intent to say they did anything wrong or anything like that. It was great information, but I really just kind of like to add to the discussion if I could. And one of the things that was discussed was warping, wood warping. And it really doesn't make any difference how thick the wood is or how thin it is. The reason it warps is because one side's drying faster than the other. And it's usually because we leave it laying on a table like that, one side or on the ground, however you want to do it. I can't tell you how many times I've spent hours prepping panels for a cabinet or something I'm building, and I get tired at the end of the day and just get lazy and leave it laying there and come back and it's warped. And wood is very susceptible to warping in certain situations, especially when you've opened up the surface. They like anything else. It's cellular. And it has a tendency to oxidize and have a protective coating on it. And if you sand it or plane it or join it or whatever it is you happen to be doing, and you open up that surface will have a tendency to dry faster than it normally would. And so, as a rule of thumb, whatever you do to one side, you need to do the other. And it's just as simple as that. And make sure that when you store it, you're storing it in, either up on some blocks, if it's big enough, up on its edge to where it's getting plenty of airflow all the way around it, and a lot of that warping will go away. If it does warp, stick it out in the sun for a half hour or so with the bend up. You can almost just stand there and watch it straighten out. And I've done it with panels for cabinets and tabletops. I've had 2.5-inch thick tabletops that have warped because I left them on the shop floor overnight thinking it was no big deal, and came back and they were warped, stuck them out in the sun, they'll flatten right out. So just remember that you are opening up the surface, and you really do need to pay attention to heat and moisture and that kind of thing, because the wood will react to it. High humidity areas back east, it could be just the opposite. It could be absorbing moisture on one side faster than the other. And again, same kind of issue. So there's talk of blow dryers and all that stuff like that. Don't really, like I said, the sun, even on cold days, will normally bring it back. The other issue was, can you seal the surfaces to kind of eliminate that? And using products like sanding sealer and some of the other varnishes and stuff that are available out there. I know what sanding sealer is supposed to do. I've just never been able to figure out what it does. And I don't say that lightheartedly. It's just never really worked up to the snuff that they've professed that it should. So a very simple fix. Get yourself some distilled water, 1 part white glue to 8 parts water. Mix it up, shake it up, and use it on all of your surfaces to basically seal them. I buy these rags at Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever I happen to get them. It's 2 pounds, $2. They're lint-free. Looks like they're made out of T-shirts. And just with a rag, just wipe it on there. And what cabinet makers and woodworkers use this for is what they call blotch control. And here's a good example. You have this kind of streak through here that if you stained it when you put your finish on, that streak is going to really show up, and you'll have an even finish on it. Well, this blotch control, and again, it's just white glue and water. You can put it on there, and it'll kind of give a little surface for your stains to adhere to, and it'll give you a nice even finish. And it's very simple. You can do it on the modelers, on the models that you're building. If you put it on there, and it is water, so if you put it on there, you get a little bit of a fuzzy edge on the fuzzy surface on the wood. Just take a piece of 600 grit sandpaper, lightly skim it. You can even take newspaper and run it across there, and it'll knock that fuzz off, and you're ready to finish. And it really does a good job of giving you a good surface to begin to stain on. Also discussed with stains and the uses. This is what you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's an oil-based stain. It's pretty much idiot-proof for the home user, but it's oil-based, and it never really dries. It's problematic if you're trying to get a really nice surface or really get a nice finish on it. The other thing is, whatever color you get, you get. There's no blending, there's no mixing and matching, there's no lightening up in any way, shape, or form. So I don't use them. I would stay away from them. A much better choice in my mind, and this is General Finishes. It's a water-based dye stain, and there's other makers out there. I think this can's like $9. It'll last you forever, and it's a very simple. Like I said, it's water-based. It has a dye in it that here's the wood, and again, I'm just using these towels, not breaking out a brush or doing anything like that, and just put it on, wipe it on, and it gives you a nice, even finish. And you can kind of adjust the coloring by adding coats onto it. So no big up, no oily stain. It works really nice. And one of the benefits is you can mix these things and match them. This is a sample board we did for a bar we built. Slight adjustments as we went through, and all we were doing was adding water to it until we got it to the color that the person wanted. Very simple. You can mix it on in a can. You can mix different colors together. You can mix and just mix in with water, and it really give you a lot of good color combinations. And on the side here, all I did was took yellow, orange, black, and cherry, and then came back and just opened some cans and put a slash across them so you could see how the color combination. So here's I believe this was cherry and yellow. This is cherry and orange. And just different colors. Here's that is going to be, I believe, cinnamon and yellow, cinnamon and orange, and so forth. So you can see how you can kind of blend these things. They have a really nice ebony stain that you could put on if you want to look for really a seasoned wood kind of effect. You could put these ebony down or one of the dark colors down, come back and sand it, leave a little bit on the grain, and then come back with one of the lighter colors over top, like a honey or a chestnut or something like that, and you can really get that grain to pop and really make it look aged. So that's what I would recommend for stains. They're easy to use, great products, and you really can't make a mistake with them because you basically sand it off and start over. And so really, really super products to use. The other thing I use a lot of is the sample jars. You go in for $1, and you can buy them at Home Depot and Lowe's. And it's latex paint, and it really, just the color range really gives you a lot of options that you really won't have in some of the Hobby or the Michaels latex paints that you buy. But they come right out of the jar, pretty much the same. You can thin them with water if you want, and do the same thing you're doing with the other ones. And again, I just use a rag and wipe it on, and you can take it to whatever depth you want. You could have full coverage, or you can still kind of bring out that grain a little bit, and it really makes for a nice finish. And if you want to go over, these are still a little wet, so it might be some problems. But if you want to start to mix these and kind of give it that age feel, you could start to just kind of lightly put it on, and you can pick up that haze. That will kind of start to darken up some of these things, or give you that feel. So again, airflow is critical to keeping your wood from warping. And whatever you do to one side, do the other. If you sand one side, sand the other. If you seal one side, seal the other. And you should have a lot of those problems go away that you're experiencing with the wood. Some other things kind of got going on. I'm still working on my roundhouse. I've been watching Model Maker Mike, his videos, and they've been extremely helpful. Again, if you have not seen some of the work that he's doing, and some of the other guys, DJ and those folks that are involved with the YouTube Model Maker, you really do need to have a look at it. And I'm pretty much following Mike's techniques right now, because his videos are pretty much cradle to grave, start to finish, and easy for me to follow along and apply the techniques. And I think as I start to expand my own skills and start to develop my own, I'll incorporate some of the things the other guys are doing. But I'm really having a great time with it so far, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. As you can see in the background here, we had a train show here in Sacramento over the weekend. Might have got a little carried away, bought some rolling stock and a couple engines. So it was kind of exciting. Had a good time. Met some really great people, and really I'm starting to put together some of the things that I want to put onto my layout. So I hope this helps. If you have any additional questions or comments about anything I've talked about tonight, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'll get back to you, and we'll see you on down the line.